you doing? Welcome to my review of Troll Mama from the Train. Now, this is actually a German Blu-ray, but it's in English because it's hard to get this movie on Blu-ray. So, and the US one doesn't work over here. If there is a US one, I'm not sure if there is, but it doesn't work over here if there is one. But anyway, Troll Mama from the Train is a 1987 movie directed by Danny DeVito. I've been watching a lot of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia lately, so I've been watching through that, so I'm like, fuck it, why don't I review a Danny DeVito movie with Billy Crystal? One of my favourite 80s comedies of all time, and that is Troll Mama from the Train. It also stars the chick that's in The Goonies. Don't know the actress's name, I will find it out. Basically, what the plot of Troll Mama from the Train is, you got this guy played by Billy Crystal, who's like a college lecturer. He writes poems, writes books and stuff like that. He's a writer, and he's trying to write this new book, but he can't get a certain word of it right. Like, the night is, he's like, oh, the night is this, the night is that. He can't come up with a word, but the thing he's saying is the night is whatever. His ex-wife stole his book idea and is an absolute bitch, whore. He hates her, and she's on Oprah being a fucking bitch about him. Meanwhile, he got this guy in his class, played by Danny DeVito, who writes his own stuff. And I'm not sure, I don't think Billy Crystal's the biggest fan of his writing. And meanwhile, Billy Crystal's also seen this other chick. But Danny DeVito plays a guy named Owen, who lives with his mother, and his mother is a bitch. Like, she's constantly calling him, Owen! Owen! Cut my toenails, rub my feet. I think she says stuff like that. Make me food, do this, do that. And she makes fun of him. Come on, Laura. It's like, Mom, I'm doing it here. Stop writing to that woman. It's like, no, Mom, I'm going to be a writer. And all that. And he basically gets treated like shit from his mother. And he always has imaginary scenarios of him murdering her in his head. So he imagines like poisoning her with Pepsi and her dying, but then when he actually puts the rat poison in, and then he like hits the fucking cup against the wall, and she's like, you shithead, and all this stuff. And I think flashbacks to his childhood. Anyway, yeah, we just see how much of a bitch she is. He sets her a bath and all this, and basically, he wants to become a writer. He wants to get rid of his mother. So he decides he wants to help out Billy Crystal's character by going to his wife's house and attempting to murder her. Tries to do that, but she has sex with the gardener and doesn't end up getting to. So eventually they're on a boat. He's about to go push her off. Eventually he's on the phone, and it looks like he killed his wife. He ends up telling Billy Crystal that he killed his wife. He's like, what the hell is this? You killed my wife. And then they nearly crash. And then Danny DeVito basically wants Billy Crystal to do a bit of crisscross. He's like, you gotta kill my mother, please. Like, no, I don't want to kill your mother. He's like, stay away from me and all this. And then it's like a dark comedy. And they basically want that, eventually Danny DeVito wants Billy Crystal to kill his mother. And he's like making her breakfast, and he's like, please, she's horrible, you'll meet her. She can't be that bad. And then he ends up meeting her, and she acts like a bitch. He's like, killing her's wrong. Eventually they find out that Danny DeVito didn't actually kill the wife. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah. He didn't actually kill the wife. And, more circumstances happen. They sort everything out. And I think they find a real killer. And eventually what ends up happening then is they all end up on a train in the final act. And that's where the movie gets its title, Troll Mama from the Train. Because she ends up actually finishing off the sentence that Billy Crystal said. The night is, damn it, or something like that. And Danny DeVito's like, where are you going? And then Billy Crystal's like, I'm gonna kill the bitch. And then you get this scene where he actually does try to kill her, and Danny DeVito, I think, stops her. And then, like, she's hanging off the fucking train. And it's a great scene. And it's a great movie. Okay, so that's basically the plot in a nutshell. So what do I think of it? I already said it. Movie is fucking hilarious. It is really well directed by Danny DeVito. I think this would have been his first or second movie, because he directed Matilda as well. I think this was first. Yeah, I'm gonna say this was first. He wanted to get into directing, so he chose this, and honestly, he done a great job. I love the scene where they go on the boat, they're talking and all that stuff, and then there's that really intense scene where he's about to push her off, and then they find her dead, and then he's on the phone talking about different things. You get nice shots of the house. There's a really, really funny scene where the girl ends up having sex with the gardener, and like Danny DeVito tries to kill him, but then like she has the music and she's like, oh, it's nice to see you, and then they're having sex and he's going, ruff, ruff, ruff. He's like, yes, I'm with the gardener. Yes, okay, darling. And he like tries to push the phone over. It's just really funny. Billy Crystal and Danny DeVito were a great team together. I love these kind of Billy Crystal comedies. Another great one is the Analyze This, Analyze That movies, but this is really funny. I like the bit when he's making out with the girl in the car. His girlfriend's like, oh yeah, that's great, I'm going to be a writer and all that. And I'm trying to think, I think Danny DeVito's character walk up to them or something? No, they're talking. He's trying to, and then he's at home at the start of the movie. The open scene's like, the night was timid. No, the night was no. God damn it! And then he's throughout the movie, there's different scenes where he's trying to figure out what to write. And he's like, the night was timid. The night was no. The night was fuck it. And he just writes, the night was timid. And it's just like I like how his character has writer's block, and it shows that even the best writers do get writer's block. I like the introduction about the characters, how he teaches the class. There's the girl that does the dive thing, and she reads out like, thank you very much. So the next one is, and he reads this guy's speech out, 20 women I'd like to pork. And he's like, yeah, pork is a term. And he's like, okay, Kathleen Turner, which is funny because I just reviewed Serial Mom, so that's funny. And he says all these celebrities. I thought that was funny. And then DeVito comes up, hey, what do you think I'm going to be a writer? He's like, yeah, I think you should work on this, Owen. And we also see Danny DeVito drink out of the water hose, which is before class, which you never see often. But I think the dark comedy aspect of the movie works very well. It's funny. It's a very funny movie. Like, I love how the beginning you really do, like, you're like, oh god, this one's a bitch. Oh, you were taking to put me at a home. He's like, no, Mom, taking you Pepsi. And then there's the part where, like, he poisons the Pepsi, she drinks it, and then she's like, ah, and all that. And you think that he's fucking killed her. But he doesn't. And he's like, no, Mom, don't drink that. And she smashes it. It's like, you shithead. And she's like, Owen, and all that. And you need to have a drinking game the amount of times that she says that. You also have the part where he imagines, like, he's talking to her and he's like, and he imagines stabbing her in the head. And then, like, it's like, oh, what would I do without you, Owen? I love you so much. Kisses him, hugs him. He's like, I love you too, man. And it's just a very toxic relationship. And you feel for Danny DeVito, even though it's a comedy. You feel for him, you know? He plays that role really well. Very comedic, very funny, very dark, creepy kind of stalker-ish role. You get this great scene where Billy Crystal finds out. He's like, you killed my wife. And then they're in the car. He's like, you gotta stay away from me. He's like, no. And then they're driving and they're crashing into a bunch of things and they go down a hill. And he's like, you ever been there? That's a great place. And then he goes, oh, it's like the Flintstones. And then, he's basically forcing her to, like, he basically, like, please, you gotta kill. He's like, you gotta do it. And he goes to the house, she's not that bad. And then, like, he's cooking her dinner. It's like, oh, you can't write. And it's just, she's being a bitch, right? She's just being a fucking bitch. And, like, it's like, I'm not telling you to blow her brains out. You just gotta kill her, please. Strangle her. She's gonna die anyway. And then they go back to the house a lot. There's that great scene where he shows the coin collections. Like, these are worth a lot of money. And all these other things in the closets and all that. And I love how he talks about all the different ways that he wants to kill her and wants Billy Crystal to try and do it for her. And he's like, no, I don't want to do it. It's like, right, I'll do it. And he doesn't do it. And, like, Danny DeVito tries to, but he doesn't. And he's like, you were trying to kill me. He's like, no, I wasn't. Or something, And there's you get a lot of the scenes of, like, Billy Crystal, like, having writer's block and stuff. And I just think, like, the reason I love the movie so much is because it's fun. It's a fun comedy. They have great chemistry, Billy Crystal and Danny DeVito. The actress, okay, I'm gonna get my Goonies Blu-ray. Where is it? What is that actress's name? Ah, fuck it. Whatever. Just because I could get it wrong. But she plays the role really well. She plays a really bitchy character. She's very, very funny. I love the bit where they're all on the train at the end. And he's like, I'm going to kill the bitch. And he actually genuinely tries to. And she nearly falls out the fucking train and nearly dies and gets hit. And you do realise that Danny DeVito's not such a bad character after all. I like the bit where he's on the phone talking about what to do with it. You know, what to do with her. And it's a dark comedy done right. Because I do like the friendship that Billy Crystal and Danny DeVito end up having. The chemistry they have is very, very funny. I think it's very well written. You know, you do feel for Danny DeVito's character. You know, she is a bitch. All the jokes land. It's a dark comedy done right. I love the opening scene where he's writing and like he's watching Oprah, and Oprah has a cameo obviously at the beginning. And he's like, Oprah, she stole my idea, Oprah, she stole my idea. And he goes like, so what? She stole your ex-wife's, your wife stole your idea. Ex-wife. You know, I love that. But like, it's just a brilliant movie. It's just like, what else can I say? It's a classic. It's a 10 out of 10. Like, it's a comedy classic. It's shot really well. It's edited really well. It's directed really well. It's written really well. It's visually nice to look at. It actually has this Rob Reiner feel to it as well. You know, did he produce this movie actually? Larry's the character's name. But yeah, like, such a great movie. I'm trying to think. I thought I heard Rob Reiner produced it. You know, it's not very long. It's only 88 minutes, and it's like, it's a fun watch, you know. But you know, Billy Crystal, he does a great job in the movie. Danny DeVito. What else? I'm trying to think. I love the scene they drive. They actually drive near the location. I think that's near Back to the Future Part 2. So yeah, honestly, guys, I really don't have much else to say. Like, this is a great movie. It's a classic, and I give it a 10 out of 10. So that was my movie review of Throw Mama from the Train. Not sure how long this review was. It doesn't say. So if it was shorter, I'm sorry. It's just I don't have a whole lot to say. It's a great movie. So see you guys later. Bye.